going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to Funnelheads. As you can probably tell, we have a little bit of different setup today. I am sitting down for once, and that is because I think this is going to be a pretty lengthy video. We are going to go unscripted. I do have a notepad here, and it basically just reminds me on kind of talking points. But other than that, I'm sure there'll be some mistakes throughout the video. If you will let them slide, that would be amazing. But today we're going to go over the overall Carnival Mardi Gras. Since we've been on it now 3 times, we have a great, feeling on how it operates, and we wanted to share, all this information with you guys. But first, if you're new to the channel or returning and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so, becoming part of that Funnelhead family. We'd absolutely love to have you. Commenting, liking, sharing the video with anybody you know is also really appreciated. But let's get right into today's video. All right, so let's start at the very beginning, and that is Embarkation Day. And for us, on all 3 cruises on the Mardi Gras, this day went very smoothly. Now, this may not be the same experience that you might have. There could be accidents, delays, whatever the case is. This day can always have hiccups, but for us, and the overall experience, I can tell you that this goes pretty smoothly. Of course, once you online check in for your cruise, you will get a boarding time and a boarding, letter followed by a number. Now, Diamond and Platinum guests do get a 48-hour window before the other guests get to pick what time they are. So usually priority or Platinum or Diamond guests typically get on the ship a little bit quicker. However, they do not do priority boarding at this time. Suite guests, if you're in a suite, actually get to board the ship first before anybody else at this point. They did say that this is going to be changing in the near future, but for right now, this is the way it goes. So you're going to show up. If you have a car, meaning a vehicle, that you drove in, you're going to park it in the parking garage. It's very easy. You just follow what the employees tell you, their signs. And once you drop off your luggage, you're going to pay for your parking. You pay for your parking before you go on your cruise. That way, afterwards, you can just, pack up your bags and leave. I believe parking, and don't quote me on this, for the 7 days, I want to say was around $135 or $140. If somebody can confirm that for me, that would be amazing. But you're just going to find your first available parking spot. I would suggest parking on one of the lower levels if you can, whether it's 2 or 3, because you will have to take an elevator or the steps if you want to carry your suitcases and everything that you have on you down to the lower level. Now, once you get into the terminal, it is a very easy process. Now, if you used Verifly, great. That does speed up the process, but if you didn't, that's not a problem. Verifly is the third-party app that basically just gives you peace of mind. Make sure you have all the documents ready for your cruise so that way you don't forget anything, and it puts it all on your phone. So if you, lose track of a piece of document that you need, it's already stored on your phone, so you're good to go. But again, if you didn't use Verifly, that's okay. Just have everything ready for the cruise employees to go ahead and check. Now, if you need to get a test, if you're unvaccinated or, not of age to have the vaccine, you will get your test done in the terminal. This test takes between 15 and 30 minutes, and they will, send an email and a text message to your phone showing your results at that time. After that's all done, you basically are just waiting for boarding if you got there early, of course. If not, they might have already started boarding. Now, on all 3 sailings, they started boarding the Mardi Gras at around 11 in the morning. There was one day they started at 12 because there was a delay. Unfortunately, there was a man overboard situation the night before, and they got held up. But still, that is very easy and fast process. there's a lot of other ships in the fleet at a lot of different ports that take a lot longer than this. So to get on board by 12 is absolutely amazing. I usually say on board by 1 o'clock, you know, that is pretty much good to go, but anything before 1 is absolutely awesome. All right, so now that we're on the ship, let's talk about everybody's favorite subject, and that is food. And honestly, there's so many venues for food on the Mardi Gras that I don't think it's possible to try every one of them on a 7-day cruise. Certainly try, but I just don't think it's possible. And some of our likes about the food is definitely Big Chicken. I'm sure if you follow this channel or watched any of my material, you've known how much we love Big Chicken. We'd eat it for lunch, sometimes a very early dinner because they do close down. I think it's either 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Don't quote me there. But we absolutely love Big Chicken. Now, as far as a dislike, we did eat in the main dining room a few nights out of the 21 days that we were on the Mardi Gras, and the food was pretty good, but the problem was it took forever. Now, hopefully by the time you sail, cruise, they are a little bit quicker. I know they want to make it, a sit down, kind of formal, night out as far as eating goes. But for us, me and Michelle, and especially having our 5-year-old, it just takes way too long. We can't entertain them for that long. And it's, I would say 2.5, sometimes even 3 hours. I mean, depending on how much you order too. I mean, typically we get, 1 appetizer, a small salad, our main course, and then sometimes dessert. So, like I said, it wasn't the best just because of the time. And even if you go, we had your time dining. So if you went at, let's say 7 o'clock and it took 2.5 hours, your night is pretty much over at that point. And after dinner, you're just stuffed. So you're super full, you're super tired, and at that point we just kind of want to go to bed. So we like eating at the specialty restaurants better. For us, it didn't take as long and also just the buffet upstairs, or pizza, deli, stuff like that, things that didn't take a long time. We really lean towards on these cruises. Now, pizza, talking about that, what I love about the pizza is, of course, the pizza itself. What I didn't like about the pizza is that it's on deck 8, I believe it is, which is literally in the middle of the ship. And all the other food besides the deli, which is right next to it, is all, basically upstairs, unless you're eating specialty dining or in the main dining room. So, if somebody wanted something, let's say from Big Chicken or the main buffet, then the other person had to go down to get pizza or deli, and you're trying to figure out where to meet, and it's just this long, drawn out process. So I don't love that they separated these venues. I think they should try to keep all the food kind of together. Now, another thing about the food that we absolutely loved was all of the specialty dining on board. We did eat at Cucina and Shibang a lot during these cruises. Unfortunately, we never made it to Emerald's, Rudy's, or the Steakhouse. I heard amazing things about them. Unfortunately, we never got there. We did eat also at Bonsai Sushi, which is always a great, pretty inexpensive night out, and it's very quick. And I enjoyed the seafood check. I say I because Michelle does not like seafood. She will try it. I will give her that. But I ordered way too much. I think I got a dozen shrimp and a dozen oysters for myself, and I don't think I finished all of it. I did good though. I definitely got my money's worth, and I got some pictures and videos of that. Maybe we'll do a separate video on the seafood shack because I know there's a lot of questions, but that is definitely one of my favorite places. Another great thing about the food is Java Blue Cafe, which I don't think a lot of people know, but if you go there in the morning, you can get free breakfast sandwiches, whether it's an egg, a bacon, egg, and cheese, or donuts, pastries. They have a lot of different variety of free breakfast items, and you're in Grand Central, so you can sit at one of those wonderful tables. And the day that we actually ate there, they were doing some practice for one of the late night shows, which was really cool. So we got to watch them kind of put things together. So it was a really cool morning to do that. Now, one thing we didn't really care for as far as the food goes was the street eats. And they tried to set this up kind of like food trucks on the Lido deck. It was opposite of the Blue Iguana Cantina. And for us, it was cool to try different things, but nothing that we got from there really was all that great in our opinion. I'm sure some people really enjoyed it, but there's a French fry place, and every time we got fries, they were just really hard. I don't know if they were sitting out or maybe they just cooked them too long, but I think we ate one of them and then we just felt bad because, obviously they had to throw the rest of them away, but they were barely edible. And then the other two, they just kind of switched different things on different days, and they were fine, but I think that spot would have been much better, having another bar or maybe even, just putting something else there altogether. Another thing that we didn't care for, which I hate to say it, but was the Blue Iguana Cantina. On past cruises, this was one of our favorite places, and I don't know if they switched ingredients or maybe they just couldn't, maybe there's a shortage and they couldn't get what they needed. But for us, it just didn't taste the same. So I don't know, maybe that's just this ship. Maybe it was just the 3 sailings that we were on in particular. But it didn't hit the spot like it usually does, because I definitely like Mexican. I could eat it all the time, and breakfast burritos are definitely my thing. I love, trying all the different hot sauces and all that. And lastly, the other 2 things that we absolutely loved was, of course, the deli. It's just such a staple. Every sandwich is so good. Didn't care that it was on deck 8 near the pizza, away from everything else, but we'll let that slide. It is always so good, and typically the line is not that long there. They serve them out pretty quickly, so again, a nice thing to kind of grab on the go or, eat pretty quickly. And finally, we have to mention Guy's Burger. Again, on point, so good. Fries, burger, cheeseburger. I don't care how many calories it is. I have to have at least one every cruise, and it did not disappoint. All right, so now let's talk about the bars on board, or the drinks. And really the only dislike as far as the bar goes is the main pool area where you have the Red Frog Tiki Bar. And it's a great bar, don't get me wrong. The crew is amazing there, both on the bottom level and the top level. However, it is not big enough bar for the Carnival Mardi Gras. You will be waiting for 10, 15, 20 minutes for a drink, sometimes, especially during peak hours. They do their best. I think they have 3 wells on the bottom, 2 wells up top, something like that, but it is just not enough. They need another bar on the opposite side of the Lido deck, or they just need to make like a specific, maybe soda fountain bar, a beer bar, and then, your mixed drink cocktail bar. I think that's honestly what they need to do, because, the poor people with soda are waiting there so long, and all they need is, Coke, Sprite, or whatever. It takes 2 seconds to do, and they have to wait just as long as everybody else. Or somebody that just needs, a single beer, takes literally 5 seconds to open and ring up. But the situation just has to improve. And unfortunately, I don't think even if they had more runners, it would improve that much, because again, there's only so much bar that we just get in each other's way, honestly. But that is really the only dislike. Now, as far as the likes and loves go, the amount and variety of bars on this ship is absolutely amazing. We love the fact that they added the Brass Magnolia and the Fortune Teller bar to this, XL class, because they are game changers. Alchemy is always a staple and is still very good on this ship, but they have some amazing drinks to try at both Brass Magnolia and Fortune Teller, and the decorations and just the environment and how they make the drinks is just wonderful. It's almost like entertainment, experience just sitting at the bar. So you really, even though the drinks might take a little bit longer because there's so many, different ingredients in each one and they have to do it in a certain way, you really don't mind because it is so cool to watch. Plus they have, live music right outside as well. So you can, watch that while you're getting a drink. More on that in a second. As far as other bars go, of course, you have the aft Lido Deck bar, the piano bar, the Grand Central bar upstairs and downstairs, Serenity bar, plus probably half a dozen that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But the main thing about this is if you go to a bar, make sure you scan the menu either by the QR code or ask for a paper menu, because each bar has their own set of drinks. And if you have the Cheers package, especially, even if you don't like one of the drinks that they make for you, okay, you have another 14 drinks to, use for the rest of the day. So get outside your box, try the different drinks. 8 out of 10 of them are absolutely amazing. And we have some favorite drinks now that we would have never tried if they weren't on that menu. Now let's move on to the cruise director. So on the 3 cruises on the Mardi Gras, we had 3 different cruise directors, one being Mike Pack, which unfortunately he's not going to be a cruise director on a ship anymore. He's the fleet cruise director, so he's going to be training cruise directors and just helping out with activities and things like that. We also had the amazing Chris the Flying Scotsman, which I think he has become or is becoming one of the best cruise directors in the industry. And then lastly, but not least, is Lee Mason, your cruise director. All 3 of them were absolutely amazing. So passionate. You could tell that they really love their jobs. They love talking with the guests, basically bending over backwards for anything that the guests need. And I don't understand how they are everywhere, because the ship is absolutely massive. So I don't know how one little person can be literally everywhere. I mean, we'd be at the Lido Deck party, and then the next thing will be at karaoke, and he went from the Lido Deck party to karaoke or wherever. It's absolutely insane how much those guys work and all the different venues that they are at. But if you have any 3 of these cruise directors, you are in for a treat. Of course, there's other cruise directors that are coming on board soon, training or taking over, but absolutely the cruise directors are on point for this ship, and really they need to be. It's, a brand new ship, first in its class, so they want to make sure that the entertainment is on point, and it absolutely is. Now let's talk about the entertainment briefly now that we're on cruise directors, and that is there's entertainment absolutely everywhere, where it's whether it is Grand Central, which is basically your hub of the entire ship with its beautiful all glass 3 floors from floor to ceiling, amazing views as you're traveling on the ocean. But as far as the shows at Grand Central, you have Vegas style shows, you have your bingo, you have Deal or No Deal. So a lot of different shows going on. And we really loved the fact that, especially with a 5-year-old, we didn't have to sit for the whole show. We could kind of walk by or just stop and stand for a minute and, just get to appreciate the show for a few moments, before little man wanted to move on to something else. So we really enjoyed that, because the last thing we hate to do is, get to a show early, get seats, and then all of a sudden, little man wants to go, or maybe the show's not really that good and, we just want to go, whatever the case is. But I love that idea. Aside from that, you have your main theater with your playlist productions and Family Feud, things of that nature. Of course, you have your piano bar with amazing piano players. You have Eden Parker there for another couple of months, and he is absolutely amazing. Just a really nice guy as well, loves his job, and we absolutely loved watching him every night. You have your adult comedy, you have your family comedy, great comedians that, either have different material on different nights, or, new comedians come on as the cruise, during the duration of the cruise. You also have live music all around the ship, whether it's guitarists, violinists, singers, or all three at different locations, whether it be the Pig and Anchor Smokehouse Brewhouse outside of Brass Magnolia, or outside the Fortune Teller Bar, as well as up on the Lido deck as far as steel drums or DJs, things of that nature. Some of the other entertainment that I can think off the top of my head, and I know I'm missing out on a bunch. Of course, you have karaoke, which is widely popular, and we actually had a really good time with it last time. We did not sing, we just observed, but we had a really fun time with it last time. The guy that won just had us cracking up laughing, like just crying laughing, as well as the many deck parties. This all, depends on the cruise director and your itinerary, but a lot of times you can have 80s nights, your whiteout, your tiki fest, the mega deck party, just to name a few. All of them are absolutely brilliant though. As far as negatives for entertainment, there really is none. I mean, there's so much to do. If you don't like a certain taste of something, whether it be, a Vegas style show, well, you have dozens of other options to choose from. So really there is no dislike on the entertainment. If there was one, it's not really about the entertainment per se. It is more about the venues that hold the entertainment. They're on the small side, and for a massive ship, they can fill up very quickly. So you do have to get there 30, 40 minutes early to secure a seat. And that goes really for any of the live entertainment. Now, moving right along, let's touch on the cabins. Now, we can't, obviously give our opinion on all the cabins, but we did stay in a balcony, standard balcony, a cove balcony, and an interior room. I would have to say that the cove balcony, hands down, was the best value and the best room for our money. It was amazing. On this ship, the cove balcony is a little bit different. On the other cruise ships, it's all steel on the bottom, where the cove balcony on the Mardi Gras is all glass, so you don't feel so, closed off. And it is, I believe, a little bit bigger as well as some of the other ships. And honestly, it was only a little bit more than an ocean view room, so we were glad to pay the difference. And that's what I would highly recommend if you're on a budget and can't afford some of the more extravagant rooms. Definitely look at the cove balcony. I don't think you will be disappointed. Now, as far as the standard balcony goes, it's pretty much the same setup as the cove balcony as far as the room layout. So that's pretty much all the same. The really only difference is that your standard balcony, you don't have as much privacy, and you're, higher up on the ship above the lifeboats. And in the cove balcony, it's more private. You have basically steel on your left and right, and above you, you have your life jacket. So I guess it really depends, if you want more sun all day, and you want less privacy or more privacy, that would be your big things. But as far as the price difference between the two balconies, the cove was much less than the standard. So I think moving forward, especially on this class of ship, we'd always lean towards the cove balcony. Now, to touch on an interior room, there's not much to say. It's just a room basically. No light, or no sunlight, I should say, in the room, and it is a lot smaller, especially the way it's set up. I don't know if it's actually smaller, but the setup makes it feel a lot smaller. And really the only reason we chose this is because Carnival basically chose it for us. We were booked on the Carnival Pride and made like a 30-day decision to switch ships, and that was one of the only rooms available. So there's nothing wrong with the interior. Maybe if you have kids, for us it was a little bit difficult maneuvering with the three of us. But as far as, an interior, it's the least expensive option. You're only in there to change, shower, and sleep. So if it's a way to cruise or not cruise, we would go with interior all the time. Now we're getting to the end of it. Let's discuss some of the destinations that we went to. And really, we're only going to talk about 3 places, because even though we were on the ship 21 days, we didn't really get off at any of the stops, because until the 3rd cruise on the Mardi Gras, little man was unvaccinated, so we basically just stayed on the ship, which was no problem whatsoever. We had an amazing time. But on that third cruise, he was finally able to get off the ship. And we went to Isla Rotan, Honduras, Costa Maya, Mexico, and Cozumel, Mexico. And all three of these destinations, we had an amazing time. Cozumel is one of our favorite islands, you know, in the Caribbean. If you have followed my channel, you know how much we love Cozumel. We've gotten married in Cozumel, we've done an all-inclusives, and we've cruised to Cozumel probably a dozen or more times. So very familiar with that island, and we've done a lot of activities and different destinations on the island. What we did last time was Mr. Sancho's. That was our second time there. It's an all-inclusive resort, basically. Not resort, but an all-inclusive beach is probably the better way to put it. It's a little bit of more money than some of the other shore excursions, but the service is absolutely amazing. I would highly recommend checking Mr. Sancho's out. Of course, you could do any of the Carnival shore excursions and you will have a terrific time. Just some of them off the top of my head that we've done is the beginner scuba. We've done the ATV tour. We've done zip riders, and we rented a Jeep. Those are just a few of the many different excursions that we've done in Cozumel. As far as Costa Maya goes, we actually had a great time in Costa Maya. We haven't been there in 10 plus years, and I think this was our only second time being there. Last time we were scheduled to go to Costa Maya, it was too windy, so the ship could not dock. And this time we got off. We did get lost in this massive market area that they have. Like, once you get off the port and into that area, you could absolutely get lost. There's a lot to do as far as shopping goes. There's pools, bars, all that good stuff, but we weren't really interested in that. We wanted to go to a restaurant called Crazy Lobster, which kind of was similar to Mr. Sancho's, except for it wasn't all-inclusive, but the food was cheap, it was good, the drinks were good, and we went to an amazing beach. It was about 10-ish minutes away from the port, and I believe it cost $15 US to get there, but we had an amazing time in Costa Maya. And lastly, we went to Isla Rotan, Honduras, and this is the best time we've had in Isla Rotan. We actually made our way all the way down as far as you could walk, as far as the beach goes, and there is a pier there. That is where a lot of the crew hangs out, so try not to disturb them. They're on, you know, their day off or their break, but if you make it all the way down there, you have a bar, you have a bathroom, and there's a long pier. At the end of the pier, you have a lifeguard on duty, and right there you could just jump into the crystal clear water. If you have a snorkel, bring that. There's definitely wildlife right around there, and the water was so amazingly beautiful. We had a great time. So but whatever you do in Isla Rotan, you will have a great time. There's a lot of great shore excursions that you can choose, whether it's zip rider, little French key, I can't remember, but those are just a couple, but definitely you will have a great time if you're going to Isla Rotan. And finally, we have the Debarkation, and this went so smooth. There's other ships that you don't get off the ship until 10:30. Everybody was off this ship by like 9:30, and we were one of the last guests to go off because, of course, little man had to say goodbye to everyone, and everybody had to say goodbye to him. They call him the little captain, and they always say he's their future boss. So, but we had, you know, as far as the debarkation goes, you know, people were off as early as 7:15 in the morning, 7:30. Again, this could change on your cruise because there are delays, things happen, but on all three cruises, it was pretty much the same. Everybody, you know, they started at like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and everybody was done by like 9:45 at the very latest, and we were on the road by 10 o'clock. So very, very smooth process. Customs pretty much is nowhere to be found there. They scan your face in, and that is basically it. You pick up your bags and you are on your merry way. Now, I think that is everything to go over on the Carnival Mardi Gras. I'm sure I forgot things here and there. If you have a question, please comment in the section below. Ask me anything. I'll get back with you as soon as possible. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you will, please share this video with friends, family, random strangers, anybody. Like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Thank you for supporting the channel. Hopefully I'll see you right back here in the next video or on a cruise ship one day. Catch you later.